What's going on, everyone? Good morning. Welcome to the Season Gaming Bitcast, episode 175 this morning. We're only 25 episodes away from number 200, gentlemen. That's going to be a blast. We'll have to figure something out special for that one.
You say that like it's not that far away, but that's like half of a year.
Yeah, it's pretty much 6 months away. Yeah, I know. It's longer than you think.
Though, man.
But as always, I'm your host, Ainsley Bowden, known as Porsche Power, among other things. I've got Mr. Tie Guy Travis to my
Lunky. I jumped the gun there.
Yeah, you sure did. Hey, get in there. Get in there. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, man. I've been working on a review this week, and it is gonna kill me, but that's okay. I'm chilling. How about you?
Yeah, I'm doing.
I know how you're doing.
Yeah. Had a long night.
Had a long night.
That is a kombucha.
Kombucha. That's a hangover cure.
Tart cherry kombucha. That's what I'm drinking.
God, is that with the nasty, slimy stuff on that?
It is. It's good for your body, though.
Yeah, I've got a detox, man. I've got a detox. So. And Mr. Dan Rodriguez, you know him simply as D. We're gonna call you D7. D7.
I'm good.
How you doing, man?
Good. I'm pretty awake. Did not drink last night. Feeling pretty good. Don't need a kombucha.
Yep. Smarter move than me. That's for sure.
Yeah, probably. I'm ready to talk some games. Let's do some stuff.
Yeah, man.
I want you to know when I'm on other podcasts and I promote this one, I talk about how I do a show with like an industry vet, Ains, and then also some old guy. Yeah. That's how I promote it, and it does
good.
It
still retains
people hit me up. They're like, "That's the best pitch for a show I've ever heard." I'm going to watch that.
It also retains my anonymity, so I'm all about it, man.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Oregano Bay.
Yeah,
Oregano Bay.
We got to change that here pretty soon. It's been on too long.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Usually you're on top of that. Yeah. So good morning, chat. Good morning to anyone listening. No guests this week. We're rocking the Three Amigos style. And we've got some good stuff to talk about. Actually, we got DC FanDome. A lot of announcements yesterday. We got new looks at Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, along with some new movie trailers, which I think we'll touch on, even though we don't normally talk movies because Batman looks amazing. We've also got Nintendo. They debuted some new Animal Crossing content and their new expansion pack, and boy, do I have some words for them. We've got Ubisoft has delayed Ghost Recon Frontline. We'll talk about that. Some new details on Avowed from Mr. Jazz over at Windows Central, Battlefield, Halo Infinite, and of course, the Xbox Mini Fridge is coming soon.
Yeah.
So
I'm getting mine tomorrow. I know it.
So before we get to all that, though, let's talk about what we've been playing because we're in the heart of it. I know we talked about that last week, but I think for the rest of the year, we're going to be talking about being, just a lot of different games. And I know between doing reviews, doing previews, early access, all these different things, right? We're going to be playing a lot of different games among the three of us. So this segment will probably expand a bit as we talk about more games. But to catch up with you from last week, Travis, I've been playing a lot of Metroid Dread this week.
Nice.
I'm actually pretty near the end. I'm on the second to last Emmy at the moment.
Nice.
So I really enjoy it. It's a good game for sure. I would say I'm not as high on it as some of the reviewers who are in the 9 range for it. I don't think I'm that high. But I do really like it. It's quite addicting. It's got that kind of, you really want to keep exploring and finding the next thing. So I find I have trouble putting it down.
It's that Metroidvania loop.
Yeah, it just keeps you going.
Although, are you allowed to call it a Metroidvania if the game is Metroid? Isn't it just a Metroid game at that point?
It's a Metroidvania. I don't know if you know what that is, but yeah. So I've been playing a lot of that, and like I said, really enjoy it. I'm pretty near the end. I will say, and this isn't a criticism on the game, but when you're used to playing, the last couple games I've played on like Xbox, right, have been Far Cry. I did the review for, right, which is like native 4K, HDR, Dolby Vision, full surround sound and Atmos and everything. And then you go to your Switch and play Metroid Dread, which is like a 2D 1080p game, with low res kind of backgrounds. I was like, oof. The jump down is noticeable.
I will say it does look a lot better on the new OLED switch. I think it is 4K, or it's at least like up-resed. It's a better resolution.
Okay.
So,
Well,
but yeah,
I've played 100% docked. Just sitting on my screen. So you can
Switch
imagine,
games
right?
don't look good docked. No,
Right.
Yeah.
So Switch expanded to 77-inch OLED screen with 1080p, it's a little rough. But
rough.
The gameplay itself is very smooth, very, it's solid, obviously. It's very polished. So it's been good, man. I'm really enjoying it.
Nice. You're ahead of me now by a lot because I got a review earlier this week and have just not been able to.
One you can talk about?
I can, yeah. It's actually already out. So I got a code on Tuesday for all of the platforms it's on. So I'm playing it on. I'm trying to play it a little bit on every platform so that I can talk about it. But it's the game called The Rift Breaker. It's on Game Pass.
Yeah,
and it is a like tower defense base building game with also like a bullet hell kind of component because you also involve yourself in mechanics, and then it's also got like survival resource gathering mechanics and that sort of stuff. So it's kind of a blend of all of these different genres, but I'm like 40 hours into it. This game is a monster, dude. It is like the menus will give you a heart attack if you try to take them in all at once. But I will say to the game's credit, it does a really good job of like tutorializing you for the first like 8 hours. Like it's like, hey, do this thing now, do this thing. They give you like these small bites. And then after 8 hours, somebody else will walk into the room and look at you and go, "What are you doing? Like, explain anything to me." And you're like, "I can't. I just need to keep going deeper." So I'm getting really close to the end, but I'm actually supposed to have my first draft tomorrow, and I don't know if I'm going to make it because I think I have a good like 10 hours of the game left. Like, there's at least like a finale and a couple more planets I need to do, but it's really good. It's one of those games where I can't really pull myself away from it because I'm like, oh, just one more thing. Like once I get this upgrade, then I'll log off, and you just don't, because there's always like the next thing that you have to do. And, I recommend it. It's on Game Pass, and I mean, its story isn't good, and it runs kind of poorly at times, even on the Series X or on my gaming PC. But they just got all of the different pieces of like the addictive survival tower defense loop right, and I'm really enjoying it so far. Nice. So I'm gonna try to play another 10 hours today and maybe finish it in time. So
those embargo dates are killers, man, especially for bigger games like that. But I've heard good things about it. Yeah, a couple other people I talked to played it on Game Pass, and they said it's really solid so far. So it's good. It's good.
Yeah, I'm probably ahead of them, but yeah,
I'm sure.
I mean, we only got the code 2 days, and like it's also one of those games. I don't know. You guys both have reviewed games, so you probably know this. Do you ever feel like you would have liked a game more if you didn't have to play it on a review cycle?
100%.
Of course. Yeah,
of
course.
Like I'm at that point now where I'm like, this game's really good. I also have played 40 hours in 4 days. I want to die. And like, like at a certain point, you're like, is my opinion being colored by the fact that I played this at a not good like clip, not good pace to do this?
Yep.
And so I'm trying my best to not do that because I'm at the point now where I'm like, I am exhausted. Like I just want this game to be over. And but when I look at it objectively, and I think like if I were playing this game over time, I would be, I would be going slower to do a little bit more. But I'm actually kind of doing a completionist run by accident. I also tend to do that during reviews. I'm like, all right, Travis, you don't have forever. Like, don't do everything. And then like that part of my brain that
it just takes over. I
need to do it though. I gotta do the side quests. So,
I do the same thing. Do the same thing.
Problems.
Deathloop was the most recent one that killed me because they got those codes out so late, and I wanted to hit the embargo. And I told Dan I played 26 hours in 2 days. It's just, and the game's amazing, right? And to your point, you have to critically look at it as if I was able to just sit down and play through this at my own pace. That's how you have to look at it. And so I reviewed it very high. I think I gave it a 9. But it by the time I got the review out and had finished the game, I was like, I can't really look at this game right now. Like I'll come back and do the rest of my fun in it later, but I can't play it anymore.
Yeah, I think I would probably I still would be playing Genshin Impact if I didn't review it, because I loved that game, but I also had a week to review it, and I played over 100 hours in a week.
That's insane, man.
In a
That's too
week,
much.
I was sleeping like 2 hours a night, and then being like, "All right, get back on Genshin. Don't eat food. Like this is just your life now." And when I was done, I was like, "That game was amazing. I give it a 9 out of 10, which is my highest review for an IGN review I've done." And then I was like, "I'm never gonna play this game again."
Yeah.
Like, I think of it, and it just makes me sick because I had to review it. So
yeah, you get burnt out.
Yeah.
Good morning, guys. AKW, Tal, thank you. Nix, Steve, what's up, brother? And yes, Steve calls out. By the way, when this show uploaded to YouTube, I mixed up apparently the AM PM. So the debut show is starting, tonight.
God. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah,
we should do a show like that one night
just
on Halloween. Let's do it on
Halloween show.
We'll do a spooky because isn't that on a Sunday? We could do like a spooky.
But I'm not gonna be home. I'm not home.
Yeah, of course.
Unless you want to do it like late at night.
I'm talking late.
Okay.
Graveyard shift.
A graveyard podcast on Halloween?
Graveyard podcast. We'll all wear costumes. I'll dress up as Spider-Man.
I'm not against this. I'm not against this.
It'd be fun.
I actually have a Spider-Man mask. I actually wore it. I looked similar to you, except 3 times your size. Because I wore it with a collared shirt and a tie. I have a picture of it somewhere.
Dan, you don't know what size I am. How
Bitcast after dark. There you go.
Yeah, I mean,
guys,
trust me.
What if you meet me in
4
person
times?
and I'm like Slender Man? I'm like this thin, but I'm like 6'6". I'm just like really long. You have no idea, Dan.
No, I'm just talking girth.
Dan's one of those that thinks that girth matters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
100% does. See, if you were sitting in the same chair I am, you could probably see the chair. Me? No. I block all that stuff out.
Dan, I must say it's actually impressive because everyone on the internet knows exactly what height I am, and they're right. Yeah, I have the body of Jon Stewart. I'm sorry. That's just I'm exactly as tall as you think I am. I'm exactly that tall.
I used to, not to kid, it's too off track, but I had a friend back east before I moved who was 7'1", and
Chewbacca's height. That's Chewbacca's height,
and Master Chief's height too. But skinny, but you don't really realize how tall that is until you're consistently next to someone that tall. I mean, like I'm 6'1", so I'm not short, right? But yeah, he just dwarfed me, and it's just like unbelievable to see someone walking around like that. It's almost kind of creepy, you know what I mean? Because they look so out of ordinary of everyone else.
I have a friend like that too, and I'm like, is it cool being able to reach everything? He's like, yeah, not really worth the 20 years less of life expectancy, but it's nice. I'm like, those people live like not as long. Like it's kind of
a health issues. Yeah,
I guess they're a little stretched.
Basketball players?
Oh my god! No, he actually raced cars. That's how I knew him. And my old car, Dan, my E36, my smaller one. He had the same car. He had to put his rails for his seat back further so he could. And he would basically look out kind of the back window. It's crazy.
That's insane, man.
It's like he's driving from the back seat.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just take out the driver's seat altogether. He just sits in the back seat and presses the pedal.
First word I hear on Bitcast, girth. There you go. We're waking you up, right, Jordan?
Go, girth, baby.
Thanks for joining us this morning, guys. So we got a super chat from Tal right out of the gate, Dan.
Man. All right, a $10 super chat. Court of Owls, City of Owls, and Death of a Bat Family are some of the best comics, in my opinion. Up there with Planet Hulk, World War Hulk, and Civil War, the first series. Hope Gotham Knight does it justice. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah,
Tal, thank you very much for the support, brother.
Is a really good Batman comic. If you haven't read that, you should read that one.
I'm out of touch, but obviously you guys, we're getting ready to get into DC FanDome here very briefly, or shortly is what I meant to say. But yeah, we'll talk about it more. And I was hoping you guys could carry me a little bit because I haven't been into comics since I was young. So 60 years ago. So, Dan, what you been playing, man? Anything good?
I finished up Judgment finally, and
nice.
It was awesome. It was
Lost Judgment. Okay, better than the first one.
I think so. I think they expanded on, enough stuff. The story was really, really good. The side stuff was amazing too. I mean, it was one of those games that it has so much and it throws so much at you, but it's all fun, and it's not like, and everything, it's not maybe not necessarily meaningful, but it's enjoyable. So, it's probably my game of the year right now. Just because as much fun as I had with it, and that's not going to be for everybody for sure. But I'm a huge Yakuza fan. I think I just really hope it's a trilogy. I don't know if they ever, I need one more at least with Tak and Kaito and everybody.
Well, it sounded like, when they announced the split between Yakuza and Judgment, it sounded like they were going to continue with Judgment, right?
Yeah,
because now that's their real time kind of world.
Yeah, I mean that's my hope. So hopefully, I mean it's and when I compare it to the first one, they added a few fighting styles, a couple of them. One of them actually, which sucks, just released. It's a boxing fighting style. It was actually a DLC, and a couple other things. But it never it's as overwhelming as you want it to be. Like you can take on as much as you want or as little as you want, depending on how powerful you want to be towards the end of the game. And it's challenging, which is fun to. I don't know, man. I mean, I wasn't expecting it. I was actually kind of like, we'll see how it goes.
How many hours you got in it?
Shit. I would say 40 to 60, somewhere in there.
Wow, big game.
Yeah, it's pretty big. And there's essentially, like I said last week, there's like 2 games inside of this. There's your main game, and you have the school
How
stories.
girthy is it?
It's pretty good. From a girth standpoint, it's up there. It's a 9 out of 10 on girth.
Nice.
So
in Judgment, a 7.
Nice. Better than that.
Sounds like it's higher than a 7 for you.
Yeah, I'd say so. Let me see what else I've done. Far Cry 6. That's the other one, and that's basically it. And that's one. I think I was supposed to originally do the review. Then you ended up doing it, and I'm super glad you did because it's so much better than like we were just talking about, to just be able to sit there and enjoy the game and not have to worry. I don't know how you got through all of that because there is so much.
I did 36 hours in, like we were just talking about. How much? 5 days, maybe? Something like
that's
that.
insane.
Yeah,
I mean, I have that.
That was during the Halo flight too. You had
it was. I was playing Halo in parallel. I play Halo when it was open, and then immediately go back to Far Cry.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good Far Cry game for sure, and I've really enjoyed it so far.
I think it's the best Far Cry game. I really do.
You're probably right.
I don't know yet. I mean, I think so far. I mean, I'm not that far though. I mean, I think I got one of the 3.
Wait till you see the Esposito arc.
I think that's what I need because he really hasn't been in it that much.
Yeah.
He just kind of pops in every once in a while. But I've only done one. I'm done with one section of the island, one of the 3 or whatever it is that you start off.
The rebel groups.
The rebels, the rebel groups, and then I just started on the legends. So
the rebels of 67.
They're great.
They're my favorite. So those missions were my favorite of the 3 rebel groups.
Yeah, they're 100% super fun, and it's just like some of the stuff. It's just so Far Cry because like I was shooting one guy and I don't know what I hit, but next thing I know he's flying 70 feet in the air, and it's just I don't know if it's a bug or a glitch or whatever it is, but it's hilarious.
It's Far Cry.
Yeah, it's Far Cry, and so I just assumed that that's part of the game. Like it's you would never know. It's like, well, these guys are ragdolling 100 meters in the air and landing on. It's just part of the game. So I've really enjoyed it so far. Yeah,
I saw a clip on Twitter where a guy was aiming at a helicopter with a rocket launcher, and the helicopter got struck by lightning, like in the weather system, and it literally caught on fire and just went down. And I was like, "That's awesome."
I saw that actually happen. I couldn't figure out what the hell just happened. I was like, "I didn't shoot that thing. What the hell?" And then I recorded it, and I was like, "Oh, he got hit by lightning. This is fantastic." I mean, it's stuff like that. It's really, really good. There's a few things. I'm not a humongous fan of the weapon system yet and the upgrade system, only because there's a lot. There is. And there's a ton of it. And you're trying to find that perfect set of weapons to, take care of any situation has been a little tough for me. But I'm getting there. Like I find like a nice LMG and then maybe like a bolt action rifle or something like that. And then I was trying to figure out how to hijack a tank. And I was like, I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. So then there's a Supremo backpack that will EMP something. And there's also a gun that like one of the special guns, like the flamethrower that will do that. I was like, well, that makes more sense. I thought I could just jump in there and just rip the guy out like any other game. But no, it's been really fun.
The one thing I like about that is your whole arsenal is always at your disposal, and you can pause and switch your weapons at any time. So even like mid battle, you're like, shit, I need to switch to something else. You can do it, which I really like.
Yeah, no, it's super fun. I've been eaten by sharks. I've been, it's just it's.
There's an achievement for blowing a shark up. There's an achievement for it.
Really?
Like literally just shooting one with a rocket launcher.
Oh, okay. I'll make sure I take care of that today.
Robin, get the shark repellent. You guys ever seen that? The old Batman.
Yeah, the old one. Yeah. A couple things I recommend for people playing Far Cry is, and I tweeted about this too. Find the impact driver. It's an LMG. That gun shoots at nearly 1,200 rounds a minute, and it has a 100-round clip, and it literally will melt anything in that game. It's amazing.
Super inaccurate?
No, it's got a freaking ACOG scope on it, and it's just it's amazing. That became like my favorite weapon to use. The other thing, two more, is don't underestimate the pistols. There's a couple really good pistols in that game that, because of their rate of fire and how fast you can move with it, you can just pick people off.
It's like an MP5 or an MP7 or something. It's this little submachine gun. It's a regular gun, and I upgraded it. This thing, it feels like the Vector from Division 2, where you just kind of walk up to somebody and you rip the clip is gone in like 2 seconds.
Yeah,
but it completely melts everybody, and it's just a basic weapon, and it's trying. That's where I'm at now, where I'm trying to kind of get that perfect loadout where I don't have to worry about it. Now, it's just up to 4 stars, right? The ratings on the weapons.
Yes.
Okay. So that just basically gives you a little bit of boost, I would say, right for your stats, like a 1-star gun and a 1-star gun and a 3-star gun, slightly better stats.
Yeah. Okay. And the 4-star is, most of the uniques are 3 or 4 stars. Like once you get it, I've put in my review, once you get enough uniques, you kind of don't really mess around with the normal weapons anymore, because there's a unique for almost every situation. Another hint is one of the resolver weapons, the ones you buy from Juan. He has a pile driver shooter, shoots like a harpoon shooter, basically. So it's kind of like a crossbow, but it shoots this giant bolt. So it's silent, but you can kill almost any enemy in one hit from afar. So
like nail gun too. That thing is awesome.
Yeah. So, but no, I'm telling you, the pile one, like you don't even need a sniper. It's like a sniper that's silent, but it does more damage than a normal sniper. And then lastly, I forget what I was going to say. Damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
weapons,
rocket launcher. So one of the tasks is destroying the air base, the air cannons, anti-aircraft cannons. You don't even have to go in those bases unless you want the uranium, which you should get. But you can, like, one thing I got started doing is taking a helicopter up really high, flying over them. They start shooting you down, jump out, pull your parachute, and just shoot a rocket down at it. And you can blow it up from midair every time, and then it's gone. And then you just put on your wingsuit and fly away.
I still get the wingsuit.
Yeah, the wingsuit. You want rocket launchers, the wingsuit, and there's one other thing. Like if you build the huts at the camps, you can build 2 huts at each of the 3 camps. There's 6 total, and they unlock like extra stuff for you. One of them, once you upgrade it, unlocks a whole bunch of new weapons and armor. So you can get like all the sets. So like I have the set where I can like run really fast and I can stealth walk really fast, and it's really good.
I saw you still playing it. I was like, Ains finished the review and he logged back on and was playing that game. Yeah. So I was like, he must really enjoy it.
Yeah, I think I'm near like 45 hours in it now. Yeah.
The one thing.
Okay, go back.
Go ahead.
No,
sorry. Couple comments real quick. Walt says he bought it on my review. Thanks, Walt. Glad you're liking it, man. Appreciate that. Steve said he's not really into it. That's a shame, dude. We'll have to talk more about that. Fonz in the house. What's up, Fonz? He said he got the impact driver based on my recommendation. That's awesome.
Nice.
It's amazing. Intel sounds like grenade launcher. Sounds gas powered grenade launcher attachment, but with stakes. Vault Boy in the house, and Joe always talking trophies. It's like almost like you run a show titled something trophy. I'm very close to the plat Far Cry 6. Nice, dude.
Well, the one thing I miss, and I know they're in the game, but I haven't used them yet, are the bow and arrows, and that's always been like a signature Far Cry thing to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like I messaged you about this, like the stealth part of it. I feel like I would have to try way harder to stealth it. Like I usually love that kind of mechanic. I usually love the stealth mechanic, but these guys are very, very perceptive. A lot of these enemies, and it's like if I were like really far away with like a really strong sniper rifle that was maybe silenced a little bit, maybe I could do it. but I there's so many of them, you know, and then they just start spawning out of the middle of nowhere, which drives me absolutely batshit crazy. Like sometimes you see them like parachuting down from a helicopter or something, that's cool, but then sometimes you wiped everybody out, and all of a sudden 2 red spots or 3 red spots pop up on your map, and you're like, where the hell did these guys come from? Were they sitting in the John? I mean, what the hell happened? And they just, I don't understand that part of it, but I really want to get a bow and arrow and try to do a really good stealth mission, because I've always used that in every other Far Cry game, and I think that's the only thing I'm really missing. But
I got
everything else is. I mean, yeah, it's there. I can go pick it up. I just chose not to because everything else is so effective.
Yeah,
there's really no reason to.
You also don't get any bonuses for doing it stealthily, which you used to do other Far Cry games. If you cleared out like an outpost without alert,
right, you got extra points.
You do get extra. It's not like the old ones, but when you clear a like if you capture a base, not the checkpoints,
the alarms out, right?
No, so if you clear a whole base and you are undetected and no alarms go off, you do get bonuses for each of those things. But it's it's minor.
Yeah, I remember the other games. It was like a thing. Like it would give you like a special, like you got it, and like you'd get some stuff. But I remember I cleared out a place without alerting anyone, and I was just like, oh, that didn't seem to do anything. It kind of was just like, all right, yeah. I guess you did it that way. You show off,
Yeah. Fonz is right. Says just put the amigos away.
I put that in my review.
It's hard for me because Chicharron is a freaking beast. I love him so much. I just got him yesterday, and I will go and battle to the ends of the earth for that chicken rooster, whatever he is. He is amazing. And it was probably some of the most fun gameplay I've had in a little while. When he just starts attacking like pots and fruit stands.
He's like, Chicharron hates these pots. You should too.
Exactly. It's fantastic.
It's pretty funny. Steve said there's no character upgrade path. Yeah, they basically turned the character upgrades and moved it into more customization with your weapons and your outfits. That's kind of where your gear sets come in now, because there are some really good clothes and gear set bonuses. Like I said, like I have I have a ton of them now, but I usually use the movement set, and then I just switch my shoes to the stealth shoes. So when I crouch walk, I'm basically like moving full speed, and it's amazing. Like, to your point, Dan, about helping stealth, like I have silence SMGs and pistols, and then I use that set and I just like slide all through the bases, like you're dead, and
I have to mess around with that. I got that like Prime, so anybody's playing it, if you have Prime Gaming, there's a bonus set you can pick up for free to add to your
I don't
game.
think I've gotten that.
Yeah, it's like you dress kind of like a vaquero. It's got like the cowboy thing with like a bolt action rifle and a 6-shooter and a full set. It's pretty good. So I've just been using that. I haven't really delved too much into the other clothing options, I guess. I've seen them. I've got a bunch of them, but
there's a lot.
Yeah, there's a ton of them. Now, do you get bonuses for having the whole set of something?
Yeah.
Like, is it like, okay. I kind of missed that part.
Yeah, and you can equip the whole set with one button, which I like too. So it'll show you how many of the 5 you own, and then you can just hold X and it'll put all the pieces you own on.
Nice.
Yeah.
One more thing. Going from like area to area sucks, because every time, like, I'll be driving and I'll be like following my marker on my path, and I'll be like, hey, this is great. Then I'll be like, hey, you're in this area, and then the entire screen will just say, this is where you're at.
You can turn that off.
Everything else.
You can
turn it off.
Yeah.
So where that is just, oh my God, because there's times where you're like, you're flying in the suit, and you go over one area and then the other area, then the other area, and you're just back and forth. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and the mini map goes away. So it was driving me crazy. I'm like, shit, am I still on the right road?
Right.
But
I've done that 100 times where I've driven like a mile past it, because I'm like, what the hell am I?
There's a ton of UI options you can do, and one of them is it says something like region intro when you enter or something like that. So and Volboy, one last thing on Far Cry, says the light machine gun that sets your enemies on fire is so much fun. Yeah, I think it's called like the Firecracker or something, but it's an LMG.
It's the one from the Ubisoft Connect. It's like a 4-star LMG that lights you on fire. If you've got the coins, it looks like it's got like radio things on it. I don't care. It's like I want to say hi-fi or something.
Oh, okay, that's
it's
different
like
one.
blue.
Okay, I was thinking of a different one because I have an explosive LMG that shoots explosive rounds, and that thing is amazing.
That's the snap crackle.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. So that one, like a helicopter chases you down, have more fun than a rocket launcher. Just unload that thing at it, and you'll literally just blow things up. It's amazing.
Nice.
Yeah. So, damn, we talked a lot of Far Cry.
Far Cry.
Yeah, it's fun though, man. I like I said when I saw, I think it was VGC did their review and they gave it a 4, and I'm like, come on, guys, like this game is objectively not a 4. Like that's just that's putting a number on a game just to cause controversy at that point because you don't like the direction it went. The game's not a 4, right?
They got the clicks.
Yeah, you can talk about how you don't like the direction Ubisoft or they didn't change enough or whatever your personal thoughts are on it. You can talk about that without giving the game a 4. Like, come on. That's just.
But Ains, I can't even. With Far Cry 6.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're not even going to get into that one. Another game that's out that lots of people are playing, and it looks like the population is steadily going up, both on Game Pass and Twitch viewership, is Back 4 Blood.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I played that too. I played that last night with my girlfriend. I forgot to mention that.
Nice. No, let's go for it. So I've played twice now with a group of 4. And we're almost finished. I think we're about to move to Act 2. It's a longer game than I thought, like more missions than I thought. But it's super smooth. It's a lot of fun. It's pure chaos, as you would expect. I don't know. I'm really enjoying it, man. We've been having a blast, a lot of laughs. It's exactly kind of what I wanted out of the game. I didn't expect it to be some Game of the Year contender, right? But it's exactly what I was hoping it would be. And in my opinion, another big kind of catch for Game Pass.
Yeah. I really like it. I haven't played it with a full group of 4 yet. That's like my next step because I'm sure it's way more fun. But I will say, I really like that voice chat is enabled by default across platforms too, because it's a cross-platform game. But if you just hop into a lobby, people will just be talking to you, and we've actually kind of seen a resurgence of that. Happening in games. I can't remember what the last one was too, but there was another big multiplayer game where like voice chat was enabled by default, and I was like surprised because you didn't really see that after Halo 2, Halo 3, where you get into the lobbies and it's just the Wild West out there. Like people are just like talking immediately. But you do in this game, and it's kind of refreshing. Yeah. I actually, I think the last one was Knockout City. I think that's one where like you hop into a lobby and people are just talking at you, but I'm glad to see it come back, honestly, because that's like a special time in gaming history where we weren't afraid for that. And now we have the technology to moderate. I don't know if you guys saw, but when you boot up Back 4 Blood, it tells you, hey, like we're recording everything you say in voice chat, and we will be using it to like moderate. And it's
you have no choice. Nice. Like they're recording you, period.
Yeah. It's a user agreement. I mean, probably a fair trade if we can get back to the age of people talking freely in voice chat, because I'm also like I'm guilty of it too. Like if voice chat isn't enabled by default, I won't talk to anybody. I'm just like, I don't want to talk to a stranger. I've met enough people in my life. Do I need to know anyone else? But yeah,
you're getting it, buddy.
Oh no, I've been like that forever. I have those tendencies, but unlike you, Dan, I try to fight against them. I try to
I don't. I
reconnect with my fellow man on occasion.
No, that is so overrated. Full circle. That's about it.
Steve asked what Kotaku rated Far Cry 6, and I don't see a review from them on like OpenCritic or something, but that's neither here nor there. I was looking.
Do they review it?
Yeah, I don't know. Not worried about it, honestly. We're not going to talk about Kotaku after what happened this week. Good Lord.
Gosh, I haven't blocked too, so I have no idea.
Long story short, they ran an article the day after Metroid Dread launched, basically saying, this is illegal, but if that bothers you, don't read this, and talking about how you can emulate it on PC. Like basically kind of not promoting, but it felt like
it was promoting.
Yeah, it was like promoting emulation.
Like, hey, if you work for Nintendo, nothing to see here. Anyway, guys. Now
anyway, here, emulate it illegally. And it got a lot of flack, which it rightfully should have. And the new editor-in-chief, the new editor-in-chief, who started in May or June or something. She came out and said that she was getting attacked because she's female and I think Latino or minority. And everyone's like, no, like you're talking about emulating a new Nintendo game. Like, what are you doing?
I didn't even know who wrote it. I just read the article and went, this is a reprehensibly like reckless thing to publish. Like
we literally like had this conversation on Cast Co-op this week. Is like, look, I would guarantee vast majority of people pissed off about this article don't even know who you are. They don't even know you're the editor. They're concerned about the article. Like to come out and your first editor in chief of a major outlet and turn it into a pull the the racism and sexism card is like, come on, like it's bad taste. Bad news. Yeah. Anyway,
I don't understand why people are getting so upset about it, but I mean that's fine. Whatever. I mean, I know back in the early 90s or late 90s, early 2000s, my entire freaking library was Napster, LimeWire.
LimeWire.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's fine. Well, you can sit here and throw stones, but easy, guys. Kotaku sucks. I'm just going to come out and say that. They're terrible. They're a horrible organization.
Well, it's not like I think so. I don't emulate games on principle.
Oh, I never do.
No, I'm going to support it. But the people who do, I think the argument there is that like there's some games you can't access anymore, or it's really not feasible to do it. And this is different. This game that came out this week, right? It can't and they published the article like 2 days after it came out, and we've been waiting like 15 years for another Metroid game, and we finally made one. And now they're like, "Hey, everybody, steal this game."
A day after it launched,
steal this game instead, and make sure that we never get another Metroid game again. Like it's just really reckless.
Yeah, but I thought Metroid is selling like gangbusters, though, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, we hope it is. Like,
well, Nintendo announced it's the best-selling Metroid game ever. Which
that's not saying a lot, I'm sure.
No, which we kind of figured it would be because the Switch is just obviously ridiculous. But I know it's millions of copies already. They announced it last week. I forget.
Yeah, we should have talked about this. So
here's the idea:
don't give these people the time of day. How about that? When something like this happens, ignore Kotaku and move on. That's it. The more
I'm sure Nintendo's already putting them on a blacklist because Nintendo
doesn't play around.
They get real aggressive with their they won't like you even if you criticize a game, you give a good score.
The video that Kotaku created for that article, Nintendo took down. Like it was off of YouTube like 2 days later. Like
they made a video on it too?
Yeah. And Nintendo went right after him. It was taken down.
That's ballsy as hell, but you know what?
Nice.
Dude, we had a video a couple years ago. This is not a joke, where we had 4 seconds. Quite literally 4 seconds of Mario just running. Like that was it, and it was like an hour-long video about some other topic Bert and I did. It was taken down in like a week, like copyright. Boom. I was like, what the hell?
Well, if you're on Nintendo's email list, you know that they love to sue people. They love it. And they publish articles or press releases about how they successfully sued people.
They sure do.
Every month. And they do that. And they brag about it to be like, yo, we will sue you too if you try to mess with us. That is their thing. So, Nintendo, don't be messing around. They also have the weirdest embargoes. I don't know if you've ever there was an embargo of a game where they're just like, you can't show Bowser. It was like a Mario game. And it was like, you cannot show Bowser in anything you do. And like Bowser's like in the opening cutscene of the game. Like he's like, it's not like he's a secret reveal or anything. They're just like, we don't want you to show Bowser. It's like, why? I don't understand the rules here.
No, we are not big enough to get Nintendo games early. That's like, they're very selective. There's some funny comments here. So Steve said Kotaku said all outlets were doing a bad job covering Far Cry 6.
They did.
During a review event they weren't invited to. Timmy, what's up, dude? Good to see you this morning. Tao and I missed something else. Tao, thanks, brother. That's why we need sites like Season Gaming, Lognet, and IGN with Travis at the helm. Come on, Travis, man. Why aren't you EIC yet, man? IGN's a small publication. Come on, get to it.
Yeah, I'm never going to do that. Although I will say our editorial staff is in pretty good hands. Like, I don't agree with every decision they make, but I'm not on the review side for sure. Dan Stapleton's a goat for sure.
Yeah,
Ryan
and
Pafford too.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think we're way off topic right now, but I think given IGN being the number one in the space, right, and their wealth of responsibility and all the areas they are, like, I think they really do a good job. Sure, there's stuff I don't agree with, but that's going to happen when you're that big. So anyway, let's move on to more interesting topics like DC FanDome, guys. Let's get to it because I know Tao was rattling off the comic stuff here. So we got we'll start with the games, of course. So let's start with Gotham Knights, which we haven't seen in a while. Obviously we knew it was coming in this event. They teased it. We got a nice new trailer, like 2.5-3 minutes long, based on Court of Owls. Now you guys may have to help me here because I am not well versed on the comic side of this. But in my opinion, from what I saw of this game, between the lead characters and the Court of Owls setup, the Penguin looks to be very, very cool in the game. I like the way he looked and was voiced. This looks really good in my opinion, man. I'm glad they're taking their time with it. The release date is still just 2022. There's no date on it, which is fine. Take your time. But I'm really liking what I'm seeing out of this game so far. Looks well voice acted, well animated. The script and the story looks to be solid. What do you guys think?
I'm excited, man. Like those Arkham games, I think was like a golden era in gaming. Like I remember when Arkham Asylum came out, I was just like, ooh, like how are they gonna ever gonna make a better hero game than this? And then they came out with Arkham City a couple years later, and it was like they did it. The madmen actually did it. Like it was just such a crazy period for all of us. And you know, Arkham Knight is a little divisive because of the Batmobile stuff, but I love that game. I think it probably gets a bad rep. But yeah. This game looks awesome. I have every confidence in the studio, and yeah, man, I'm excited to get back into these games because like they're so good at storytelling and the combat's awesome. Yeah, I couldn't be more excited. But it feels so far down the road for me that I spend like almost none of my time thinking about it, and then when it pops up, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm super excited for that, and then it goes away immediately because it doesn't feel like a real game to me. Every time I see it, I'm like, oh, this is the future. I don't even know if I'm gonna be alive when this game comes out.
We've been hearing about this, and you know, obviously the next one we'll talk about. We've been hearing about them for so long, to your point. But again, I'm glad they're not rushing it.
Yeah, I think the Court of Owls is like the perfect story to tell because it's got a ton of drama. It's like steeped in lore. For those that don't know, the Court of Owls is like a secret society that like runs Gotham. They're like responsible for all the crazy crap that goes on in Gotham and why there's all the villains everywhere, and like half of the stuff that happens is because of this secret society that's been pulling the strings the whole time. And whenever they pop up inside like DC lore, you know that some stuff's about to go down, like some big conspiracy theories and that sort of stuff. And so after the what I call the Joker trilogy of the three games, obviously not including the Batman Origins game because that game was ill-advised, let's say. But yeah, those three games, I think it's really hard to follow up because how can you follow up to the Batman Joker like perfect telling of that relationship? But if they're gonna do it, it's a pretty good place to start, gotta say.
Yeah, and for someone like me, and I'm sure the comic guys probably appreciate it even more, but for someone like me who's not tied too closely to this stuff, you do kind of get tired of seeing the same old thing over and over again, right? Whether it be the movies or the games. It's like, all right, I know this villain, you know? So when I saw Gotham Knights and it's like, all right, you've got 4 main protagonists, right, that aren't actually Batman. And then now you've got this Court of Owls story which I've heard from many people like yourself, Tao, many others saying is amazing in the comics. Sounds like it's great that I guess my point is it's great that they're branching out into the broader kind of lore and stories within these comics because it feels like there's so much to tell that they could tell, and yet they continually over the past couple decades in these games just go back to the same thing over and over and over again because it's what's popular. But maybe the games are big enough now, the audience is big enough to where they can start to experiment with some broader topics maybe.
Yeah, I think what they've discovered is that like all consumers of content are now nerds. Like the MCU would never have worked because in the past because not everyone was a nerd, but now people are like, ooh, now I want to see that side story of that other character and get into the expanded universe. And I'm like, wow, like everyone's a nerd now. Like I remember a time where only I wanted to like know what the side characters were going on, and I had to read a comic to do it. Now they just make TV shows for that stuff, and so there's definitely more opportunities for that. But the other thing is, I actually don't think that the Arkham series has ever been super safe. Like, obviously, they've kept the Joker relationship with the Batman kind of close, but they've expanded every game. You know, Arkham City was a huge departure from Asylum in terms of the way the game played and the semi-open world nature of it, and also the villain that they chose, Hugo Strange, is like very underutilized. And then Arkham Knight as well. They kind of didn't even really advertise that Joker was involved in it or in it at all, and they kind of went a different direction. But that game had a little like pacing story problems. But I'm excited for this, man. Court of Owls has, I will say, to your point of it being like original, it has kind of recently appeared in a lot of Batman content. Like it was on, you know, that the Gotham show. The Court of Owls is like a pretty big part of that, and so I think it's probably some content that some people are familiar with who are in the mainstream. But I'm glad that they're getting away from like traditional villains, because the Court of Owls is like super underrated as like a topic in the world of Batman. So
nice. Dan, what do you think?
Also,
man?
to give us a chance to clam on like those 1%ers, because they're all 1%ers, like
well,
top hat.
That's exactly what Steve said here.
Wearing people. Oh yeah, exactly. That's exactly it.
Yeah, very relatable.
Yeah. So when I collected comic books, I was never really a big DC guy. It was probably 90-10, you know, Marvel to DC. But you know what I did collect, I know what the Court of Owls are. I don't know a whole lot like in depth about them, which might be good, you know, going into this and kind of getting something, you know, where I'm not surprised, or where I am surprised, whereas as opposed to where I know every little thing about the background. So yeah, I'm excited about it. I love the trilogy. Super fun. I really actually loved Arkham Knight. It was a little bit bloated, but it was always fun. The gameplay always brought me back to it. And the only question with this one is, you know, you've got these 4 other characters. You don't actually have the big name. You don't actually have Batman, right? So you know, will that be enough to, you know, make this game sell? You know, to your point, Travis, it is the masses. Are they all the, you know, the nerds, as you call them? You know, are they going to make this game successful? You know, is it going to be enough? You know, because they do a good job telling stories. They do a good job, and the characters. I'm excited for the characters. You know, but you know, they have to really. I want them to make them. They need to make them different enough. You know, between gameplay styles and how
hopefully
and stuff like that. You know, and you know, I can see where they're all going to be at least a little bit similar, but you know, it's going to probably come down to like the gadgets and, you know, maybe some of the fighting styles. But I'm excited for it. I definitely am. Any kind of comic book game, you know, I'm definitely going to give a look to. A big fan of like the Dark Knight stuff, or the
Dark Knight comic, or the
Dark Knight. No, I'm sorry, the
movies,
not the movies. I really hate Chris Nolan, but I do love those movies.
Hey,
that is
no.
Opinion.
No. We don't want to go on the 10-minute tangent.
No, we're good.
10-minute.
No, I can't stand that guy. He's super self-absorbed. That's all I'm going to say about him. Regardless, I love the movie still. I still love the movies. It was great. All right, but you know, I'm just not a big DC guy, I guess. You know, so it's
but the Dark Knight trilogy. Come on, man.
He's one of the best directors in
Hollywood.
No.
I said they're great.
Period.
No, Did you guys see Tenet?
I did.
I watched it 3 times.
Yeah.
I still don't know what's going on. So
why did you watch it 3 times if he's
because he's so self-absorbed that he can't just make a regular movie. Like when isn't Hardy's in like
the Dark Knight,
right? It was like the worst movie of all time.
Inception's amazing. What are you talking? Did you just say Inception's bad? Oh God.
Damn, you're killing me, dude.
I'm already hungover. I don't need to be punched in the face at the same time.
Ames, you let this guy review games. You respect his opinion enough for him to write his opinion down and give a score.
Well, okay,
this is what we're working
Joe
with.
liked Tenet, so I mean, you know, there you go, Mr. Bad Take.
I'm not saying Tenet is a masterpiece, but come on,
agreed.
Nolan, you're gonna pick on that guy as the guy. Come on, man.
No, listen, I'm not. His talent, I think, is fantastic. I think he's a self-absorbed piece of garbage. That's what I think of him.
You can be self-absorbed without being
That's
a piece of
being
garbage.
British.
No, he's
called being British.
It's called British.
They have to be a little absorbed. It's part of their culture.
This is correct. This is correct.
Oh,
yeah.
Terrible.
Oh, and by the way, Def Lloyd, what's up, man? Good to see you. Memento is fire. 100% true.
Oh, Memento's.
The dude has barely made a bad movie. Like everything he makes. Come on.
I like the Batman.
The
The Dark Knight
Prestige?
trilogy was fantastic.
The Prestige?
Prestige?
Come on.
So good.
You know, I don't think I've seen that one.
Vault
Oh,
Boy
you
said, I
should.
didn't care for Inception. I got your back, bro. For
Yeah.
Dan.
Thanks, Ben. No, listen. You can make movies and they can make sense, you know, or you can just make these movies that are, and people are like, oh man, that's mind blowing. No, it's really not. It's really stupid.
Have you guys ever seen American Vandal?
No.
The show on Netflix. There's like this scene where one guy's like, I didn't really understand Inception, and then the other guy goes, "You don't get it. Dreams have layers," and that's what this conversation reminds me of.
Oh my God!
Dreams
All right,
have
I
layers,
told
bro.
you this would get us off track.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. Okay. Gotham Knights.
I mean, yeah.
We're excited. We're excited.
Yeah, we're excited for Gotham Knights.
Looks good.
I'm probably more excited for the next one though.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get to it. Let's get the super chat first from our brother Mo.
Happy Sunday, brothers. Wish I could stay, but happy to quickly gander at your sexy faces. Cheers to everyone. Heart. P.S. Metroid Dread fucking rules. All right. Oh, I should have said that. Fickin' rules.
Thanks, Mo. Good to see you this morning, as always. Yes, me, Mo, Elu, Joe, Bad Bit have all been playing Metroid, and we're like all pretty much at the same spot. So we've been kind of talking each other through it as we play. It's been a lot of fun. It's cool. All right, the next one is the one everyone. I mean, Gotham Knights we've kind of seen at least some of prior. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League we knew was coming, but we hadn't actually seen it. So they gave us a full 3-minute story trailer, a lot of aspects to the game. We saw, you saw obviously the Suicide Squad and the kind of the core story there, which people I think even myself like are familiar with. But then you see, the Flash and Superman and the Evil and Penguin's even in this one too. He does a little cameo at the end, kind of funny. But this is this one again. I don't have a huge opinion on the comics because I don't know it well enough, but from when you look at this trailer, from just the animations, the kind of the way the characters look, the writing, like it just feels really good, right? It looks to have everything you would expect out of this game, and it looks like it's going to be just an absolute blast to play. And of course, we know that Rocksteady has been working on this for a very long time, and Rocksteady's a proven developer, right? I mean, we were just talking about how good the Arkham games are. So
true, but they haven't made a shooter that I know of.
No, they're going out of their box. Yeah, they're going out
so
of their box.
I'm interested to see how that goes because like they are, to your point, like they're probably one of the top 10 developers, and they like we were saying about Christopher Nolan, they haven't really done anything bad. Like all their work is really good, but I am curious to see how this translates because Ains, you and I, as connoisseurs of shooters, we have pretty high standards, and not every developer can make shooters. I mean, there's some developers that are even not like Naughty Dog is like a top studio, not great at shooters. Like, I mean, look at all their games. Like the shooting mechanics aren't really what you come for, right? Like, and so that would be my concern with this one is, rhythm based action kind of beat 'em up versus shooter is a pretty big pull. So I'd be interested to see how they've developed it, and like you said, they've been taking their time, so I'm sure it's great. But I bet you they had to do a lot of hiring for this game because that
could be what's taken so long, right? I mean, they've been working on this for years. And in fact, they didn't even show it for like 3 years. But I think total development time now has to be up in 4 or 5. And there's still no release date. This is also just 2022, sometime next year.
We call that a Halo development cycle.
And look how good those mechanics are. So
right.
Faz, Dread, good to see you guys this morning. Good morning. Dan, what did you think about this one? You said you were excited for it. You were waiting to see this. Did it kind of hit your expectations?
Right. I think it'll be. I don't know. We still haven't really seen a whole lot. If any gameplay, have we? It's just I like the setting a little bit more. Like if I'm going, I'm like I said, I'm kind of a mainline DC fan where it's like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. Mostly that kind of stuff. So, but with the Suicide Squad, I think they were just more interesting characters. Like they're so different from each other, these 4 even. And I think, I like to see where this pans out. It's from a story perspective, at least. Gotham Knights, I think, will probably be better as far as gameplay. But, this is Rocksteady, right? So, I mean, also an amazing developer. So, I don't know. This one, I think I'll be a day one purchase. Gotham Knights is going to be one of those where I'm just like, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I agree with you on the. I think I was excited for this game the second I heard the title, because Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is a perfect name for a video game. Like, it's perfect in so many ways. Like I know exactly what I'm going to do in the game, right? It's going to be about killing the Justice League. it has the classic like Suicide Squad like sassiness and like, you know, DGAF nature of that brand, and it just like it hits on so many levels.
It's so absurd, right? It's
so
like, oh,
absurd.
we're just gonna go kill the Justice League.
Yeah, kill the Justice League. It's cool.
Yeah.
And it's also something I've been wanting to do for a while. Like, killing Superman is like, I dream of killing Superman in real life. So I'm very excited to kill Superman. I hope the game is just me killing Superman 5 times. I'll feel bad if they make me kill Batman and Wonder Woman a little bit, Green Lantern, especially if it's the Jon Stewart one. But when I kill Superman, that's just ooh, I'm gonna make myself a safe checkpoint before that happens and play that a few times, because
Dan's
Superman
gonna picture
sucks.
Superman as Christopher Nolan, and he's just gonna go down on him.
Yeah, I'm sure there's an Inception joke somewhere with your dreams and your you know what you're having in there. So.
Oh my God, Neo, good to see you this morning, brother. Hope you're doing well. Who else we got in here? HTK Peter, good morning, man. But yeah, man, I think this is gonna be really fun. So, did they mention one thing I wanted to ask you guys that I didn't catch, or maybe I missed because I didn't watch FanDome live? I kind of caught up afterwards. Is this co-op as well? Like Gotham Knights, I think you can play co-op, right? Like with the characters.
I think this is.
Okay.
It seems like it's setting up that way anyway.
You would assume so because it's got the 4 characters, but I don't want to just assume that you can play 4-player co-op. I was, we'll see. If anyone knows in the chat, let me know. But I was curious about
the
that.
bad guy in this one is Brainiac, right?
Yeah,
that's the bad guy. So I'm wondering how much of the title is real, like killing the Justice League. I hope it is, but yeah, it seems like we actually have a real.
You said Superman must have used Travis's car to beat an enemy senseless.
He has a
Superman.
Neo, Travis isn't the car guy. He used it.
Oh no! Come on, man. Just because I have an electric car. It is. I just googled it. It is co-op.
Sweet.
Cooperative multiplayer, 4-player. And when solo, players can switch between characters at will.
That's awesome. I love that you have that option. Yeah.
Amazing.
Good.
Amazing.
Sounds great. But outside, we also remember we have Midnight Suns coming next year too. So, Dan, if you remember, like 3 years ago when me, you, and Bert were doing the show, and we were talking about Avengers on one show. I actually remember this like in my head. We were talking about Avengers and the movie, not the game, the movie, and how well it was doing. And I think we were all talking about it's only a matter of time until we really start to see that same hit like in Hollywood come to games, right? They really start to expand all these comic IPs and franchises and stories and everything you can bring. They're going to really start to hit big in gaming. And 3 years later, here we are where you're starting to see it, right? The developers had needed their time, but the IPs are there. Spider-Man's obviously huge. You got Midnight Suns, you got these 2 games. They're starting to come now. And I think this is going to be an ongoing thing into the future.
Yep.
I think, yeah. I mean, sometimes you miss a little bit Avengers. Sometimes, I'm actually a little bit interested in this Guardians of the Galaxy game. I really thought I was like, the more I see of it, the more I'm like, hey, this could be okay,
So
I'm surprised people.
I don't even know if I can.
Stoked for that one.
I don't know if I can say if people are playing or not, but we got a friend that we all know who is playing it right now, and has been complimentary. That's what I'll say.
Nice,
good,
nice.
Right. Yeah. So you've got. There's so many potential IPs. That's the thing, like when I said I'm more of a mainline DC guy, there's also like, some of the more obscure, but like Sandman, they're getting a series, I think, on HBO or something, so, that could make a decent game. Maybe, like Lobo is one of my favorite comic book characters of all time. Yeah. And I think he would be amazing in a game, that's, solely about him, because he's got so many different layers and he's, kind of insane. So, there's a lot of stuff that, potentially could be, some really, really good IPs. It's just giving those characters kind of the respect and the time, they deserve. in the development cycle to produce something good, and not rush it out or make it, some kind of weird card game or whatever the heck that Marvel one is. I have no interest in it whatsoever. So
yeah.
I will say I think the reason the superhero games weren't a thing sooner is because the thing with licensed games is they were so bad in the past, because
that's true.
A studio would either try to do them themselves, or they would get like not the right fit for it, and the game would just come out half baked. And I think now we're in this period where the right developers are getting the right IPs and making awesome.
And given the time, right? They're not under some movie tie-in embargo like they used to be. Yeah.
The one thing I hope is that this doesn't become the whole games industry. Like
me too.
Like it did with movies, because like the superhero movies are like 90% of movies that come out, I feel like, are just superhero movies. And I would really like to see not that. Like I don't think we're really at risk of that happening, but I really I don't want all of my favorite developers to be working on superhero games where I'm like, all right, I'm playing as another.
I think you got a better chance of, it becoming more Fortnite-ish, or any kind of, game that you have to pay $8 million, just to get your
free-to-play monetization.
But I
mean, superhero games could have that model too.
Yeah, look what Avengers did after it went on Game Pass.
Yeah, you could be Avengers from here on out. Next thing is gonna be the
Avengers League, campaign was great. I think you guys are being a little.
It was all right.
I've heard it's good. I haven't played it. Yeah, I can't.
You should just play the campaign and never play the online. Honestly, that's what I did. I played on a campaign, and then they were like, "Would you like to play online now?" And I was like, "Nope." Bye. Uninstalled. Good. Yeah, I was like, I'm good. I'm not going to do that. But yeah, the campaign's great.
Yeah, even the little short ones, the Hawkeye and Kate Bishop and Black Panther stuff has all been really good too. So,
Black Panther, I hear, is really good. I haven't gone back to do that, but everything
it's
I've
actually
seen is awesome.
A good time. I mean, it's not something that you're going to go, wow, yeah,
Yeah.
And the gatekeeping of some of these, skins and emotes and stuff like that is a little harsh, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah. One more note on Guardians, because Tal said he's going to wait on us. Actually, we are doing something for the first time at SG where we have a guest reviewer reviewing Guardians for us. So we will have a review on it, maybe by the embargo date, but it's going to be someone that doesn't typically write for SG. But you know the person, like I said, so it's going to be pretty cool.
What does a guest reviewer mean?
Basically, he's not a formal contributor on the site. But he's playing Guardians now, and I talked to him. He asked if he could actually review it and write it up for the site. So it'll be a full review, like Season Gaming review, but he's just not normally someone who writes for the site. Yeah, so
sounds like he's a contributor now.
Well, we talked about that, so we'll see. Real quick, we don't normally talk movies, but Batman, guys, Batman. This looks so damn good. So. Real quick, I know Dan and I have talked about this before. I'm not a big MCU guy. I don't really care for those movies that much. I know I'm in the vast minority. So yeah, you can beat me up all you want. But I just, I really prefer the more serious takes, the darker takes on comic movies. I just do. Probably because I love horror movies. That's just what I prefer to watch. This Batman, is it Ben Reeves? I forget the guy's name now. Matt Reeves, thank you, the director. So this Batman is obviously kind of a retake. It looks really dark. They came out and said it's going to be nearly 3 hours long, and that Riddler, obviously the main antagonist, is going to play almost a role like a Jigsaw type character. In the way that they're approaching.
Jim Carrey as well.
And the two trailers, obviously we had the one several months ago, whenever that was, and then the new one that came out yesterday shows a lot of who I presume to be Catwoman, or a take on Catwoman. This just looks like, it looks incredible to me. I think this has potential to be my favorite comic movie yet, personally.
Cast though.
The what?
Pattinson.
Well, so I was going to ask you guys that, because when they first announced him, 2 years ago, right? He was going to be this, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, the Twilight guy is going to be Batman. That's stupid." And I was like, "Well, give him a chance. Let's see what he does."
For sure, he should get a chance.
He was in Tenet too. So,
but I also have a chance to be skeptical.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But I don't know, the serious scenes where they've shown him so far as Batman, and obviously we're talking about 30 seconds of footage, but I don't know, man, it looks damn good to me. I'm telling you. I don't know if you guys are as hyped for this as I am, but I think it looks absolutely fantastic. I cannot wait.
Colin Farrell is Penguin.
Was that him in the car? Was that the Penguin?
Yeah, that's Penguin. Andy Serkis, the CGI guy who plays like Snoke and Gollum, is playing Alfred, which I find interesting.
Alfred looks
Alfred.
You're never gonna top Michael Caine. I mean, let's just put that out there. Michael Caine.
Hard to top, but I think it'll probably a different take. Andy
of course,
talented actor. And then Jeffrey Wright, the guy from Westworld, who's like the assistant dude, the black guy with the beard. He's
Gordon.
James Gordon, yeah, Commissioner Gordon. So yeah, the casting's interesting.
I love him as Gordon, by the way.
Perfect.
He's a great actor.
Perfect. Yeah, like as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, dude, he should have been in all the movies. Like, that's perfect casting. We'll see what it does. But I agree. The trailer they showed, I was encouraged.
Dude, I've watched it 3 times. I'm not even a comic book guy. I'm like, oh my god, like it gets me so hyped up. And don't even talk like the scene in the first trailer when I think we all love when he beats the crap out of that dude. He says, "I'm vengeance." Like, that gets me jumping out of my seat. Like, for sure. Awesome. It's awesome.
So, do you like Saw? Since you compared it to Saw,
I like some of the Saws. They obviously got a little ridiculous, but
Saw movie, unironically, is a good movie.
It is.
I think it gets a bad rap because of the ridiculous proliferation of those.
It went too crazy. And the sad thing is, the only reason that happened, I don't know if you know this, Saw, I'm pretty sure this is true. You can double check me, but Saw is the highest grossing horror series of all time.
And they shot the first movie in like 2 days on like a $10,000 budget. And the guys who wrote it are the 2 dudes in the room that are chained up. Like they were just like, we're just going to make a movie. And then it like, $10,000 blew up into this huge movie. Actually, you might be interested to know this thing.
Go for it.
The Saw movies followed the Fast and Furious model.
Stop it. Fast and Furious is our new boyfriend dungeon. Like you have to bring it up in every episode now.
I will bring it up in every episode. You're welcome. But anyway, I just thought a little connection there.
Yeah, no, we're fine. Saw 5 is better than any Fast and Furious movie.
Incorrect, sir. Incredibly incorrect. In fact, Saw 5 versus Fast 5, no contest. Shutout victory for Fast 5. Please.
By the way, Def Lloyd makes a good point here, and he's right. Is people going back to the topic at hand on Batman and Robert Pattinson? Is people said the same thing when they cast Nolan's Joker when they first announced Heath Ledger as Joker? People were like, Heath Ledger's going to be Joker. Like,
true.
We know how that ended up.
100% true. I will give you that.
Yeah. Too fast, too furious, Travis.
That is 100% also correct. And also, I think you should highlight Luke's. Ains loves Fast and Furious. He told me. Boom.
Oh yeah, no, he's good. Luke's not welcome here.
Not gonna highlight that.
I think he's right. I think it's a secret love. I think you're
as Joe said at the start of the show. Luke sucks. That's just a fact. What was I gonna say?
Last show, but I agree.
Dan, Batman movie. Where are you at on this?
I like it. Looks good. I didn't even know that was Penguin. I was like, who the hell is this guy? I thought he was like some kind of gangster guy.
It's a lot of makeup for Colin Farrell.
A lot of makeup. I could not tell that was Colin Farrell. So, but yeah, it looks good. It looks dark. It's kind of got like the new Joker vibes, the new Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix. It seems more down to earth to me. Like more gritty, realistic, less.
See, that's why
fantastic.
I like it.
It's so it could be amazing. I have no idea. I'm going to see it 100%. So we'll see, man. I mean,
why don't we hit that one up together?
Yeah, we can do that.
I'll come over.
Yeah, it'll be the first movie back to since COVID. That'd be
I'll take my my horse and buggy over to
bring the carriage.
Yeah, bring the carriage. I'll use the Oregon Trail.
That's
easy.
By the way, Mark has the comment of the day. I should just leave this up. We're just going to leave this here for the rest of the show. Very true. Very true. All right.
No, that's incredibly wrong. Incredibly wrong. Oh my God. Mark, come on the show so I can annihilate you publicly. Please come on the show, and I will make you cry on camera.
Hey, calm down. In the end, we're all family. We're all family here.
It's true. It's true, but not all blood is family. As we
don't like how Fast and Furious has infiltrated Bitcast. I'm not happy.
I love it. I think we should change it to Bit Fast is the name of the podcast now.
Oh man.
In all seriousness, that would make a funny shirt for us to make.
Wouldn't it?
That'd be like an inside joke shirt for Bitcast. Yeah, we may have to do that. Yeah. All right, guys. There's a couple other things. Obviously, DC FanDome, Peacemaker TV series. John Cena still playing that role. He was great in Suicide Squad, so that'll be cool. But if there's anything else, is there anything else from DC and FanDome you guys want to touch on, or can I go to rant about Nintendo?
I want to touch on all of the stuff I saw at DC FanDome. It was a very good year for them.
DC, in all seriousness, it feels like DC kind of got flack for the way they've handled some movies, rightfully so.
For sure.
It looks like they're trying to turn that corner, right, and make DC something special again.
That show was entirely too long. I'm just gonna say that.
I actually think DC's problem in the past has been trying to emulate what Marvel did with the MCU, and I think the reason they're being successful now is because they're going the opposite direction. They're like doing their own thing. They're like, MCU can have like the bright-eyed team movies. The group comes together and inspires
for 8-year-olds. Yeah,
and then the DC universe has found success doing the opposite with like super depressing. Joker movie and
now we're talking
this Riddler movie, and I think both can exist and both can be good. I don't think tights wearing spandex Justice League saving the day is really ever going to compete with Marvel, just because Marvel has better characters, in my humble opinion, always has. So aside from Batman, I mean Batman and the Black Green Lantern are really the only heroes I can get on board with on DC. So
just letting you keep digging.
Who else they got?
I'm not arguing with you because I don't know, but I'm sure you're pissing someone off right now.
I mean, I don't know. I definitely am, but I'm also.
Oh man! All right, so let's move over to Nintendo. This week we got a Animal Crossing Direct. I don't know why we need all these individual directs, but they showed off this Happy Home Paradise expansion for Animal Crossing, which obviously a gigantic game, right, worldwide, tens of millions of players, and Luke just said ties are stupid. And then Tal said, no, you're kind of right. So there you go. See?
I mean, I love Batman. Like, my love is unrivaled Batman, but like I don't dig super deep into like all the characters.
So Nintendo, long story short, comes out. They show this Animal Crossing expansion, which I think for Animal Crossing fans, I saw a lot of people excited, so that's great. But then they come out and say that the prior thing we showed of Nintendo 64 titles, select titles, a few Genesis titles, and this expansion for a game is going to be locked behind an expansion for Nintendo Online, which is a completely different pricing structure. So
wait, hold on. Wait, before you go, I thought so the Animal Crossing DLC is what you're saying is locked behind the $74.99. Okay.
Yes.
So Nintendo Online is currently $20 annually, individually, or $35 for the family membership, as Dan knows all too well. So to get the access to these Genesis and N64 games in this Animal Crossing expansion, you now have to get the expansion pack with your Nintendo Online service, which is going from $19.99 individually to $49.99 individually, or from $34.99 to $80 for a family annually. There's no other upgrades that you get with this service. It's literally on their site. You get Genesis, Nintendo 64, Animal Crossing expansion. As of now, anyway. They may expand, obviously, in the future.
Can you buy the Animal Crossing DLC separate from this? Or is it 100% locked behind it?
It doesn't seem like it. I don't know if we have an answer to that.
I went on the site itself, like Nintendo's site, when I've put up the information, and it literally has a picture showing it as part of the expansion only. There's no pricing model for it outside of that.
So I understand why people are mad at this.
Yeah, I was going to say you typically have a more, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but
more
typically
moderate view.
More moderate, more defending view of Nintendo. Whereas this is, to me, again, I don't care because this doesn't impact me personally.
Right.
But this is just bad. come on. This is Nintendo at its worst.
Yes, it's bad in the way they announced it. My thing is, I think it's probably too soon to tell. And I think their real problem was their messaging, because my sense is, based on this, we now have an expansion locked behind a subscription service. I think that this is Game Pass. I think that this is them doing that, because they're already showing games that are going to come to it. They've got one exclusive expansion that's going to come to it. I think that what they're saying is, hey, our service of selling you just access to online games, which they don't have a ton of online games to begin with, is now going to kind of emulate the Game Pass model, or the PlayStation Now, or whatever it is called.
Travis, real quick, $25 if you buy it separately. You can buy it separately for $25.
You can buy Animal Crossing separately.
Yeah, the
DLC. So there you go.
Okay, so that's not as
for
bad.
sure.
Happy Home Paradise
sure.
DLC is available as an individual purchase for $24.99.
Yeah, so
Okay,
I think and I bet you on the Nintendo 64 and Sega games, it's the same. You can either repurchase them, or you can pay for this expansion pass upgrade that gives you streaming access to them, right? Or downloading it, but you don't own it. So I just think really their problem was messaging, because if they said, hey, in addition to continuing to sell you the online service, we're adding this new service that is like a Game Pass like service, people would have been like, oh, that's really smart, Nintendo. Your offering is a little weak right now, but that's smart. But the way that they sold it is, we're increasing prices, and here's some weird stuff you're getting out of it. And Nintendo said a long time ago, hey, what you're paying for online service, this is a temporary price, because we know the service isn't really built yet, right? Like, you're getting into basically a beta. They messaged that. So there was always an expectation that the online service was going to increase in price. But I really think their issue here has nothing to do with what they're offering. I think it's the way that they pitched it. The pitch was terrible. So that's my personal opinion on it. I think time will tell, but this doesn't strike me as something that is even that weird. It just seems like they're just selling Game Pass.
So the fact that you did find that, Dan, so thank you. I've quickly calmed down a little bit. Because to your point, as long as you can still buy all the content separately, like you can on Game Pass, right? I hate that stupid argument of you're renting games. Nothing's changed. It's literally not.
Buy it if you don't want,
and you get a discount. You get a discount anyway. But so if that's the case, that's not too bad. As you just rightfully said, Travis, for this type of price increase, the offering's weak. Like, I don't know who would pay. I mean, unless you're a diehard Nintendo guy, I don't know who's paying $80 up, more than double what you're paying today to get access to games that are 25 years old and an expansion. Is crazy to me.
80 is for the family, though. I don't think most people are doing that.
80 for the family. Okay, so $50, which is still more than double, because it's 20 right now.
Oh yeah, no, I'm telling you, the value prop isn't there, and the messaging is terrible. But I really don't see this as being like that radical or like crazy.
No, now that I know you can buy it separately, I'm not as bad on it. And I think you're right.
Let me ask you this then. What the $49.99 per individual? You get the expansion pass. Is it like Game Pass, where like if you don't get it next year and you cancel your subscription, you no longer have access to that DLC?
Probably.
Okay, so take away that expansion pass, and you're paying $30 more an individual. You know what I mean? Like, you don't. That's an insane price hike. Even
the price is bad, but I think the messaging was really off, because I would imagine they're going to be adding tons of stuff to this and be like, hey, and if you're on expansion pass, you're also going to get this bundled in, and then people are going to down the road be like, oh, expansion pass is just Game Pass but more expensive.
Yeah,
and you get less, but you get Nintendo products. So it's.
I mean, you could wrap this up in a bow and ship it to me, and this beautiful woman could come to my door and say, hey, look at this. This is what you get. This is it doesn't matter, because you still deliver me a box of crap. That's
actually,
the messaging.
It is cheaper than Game Pass, because that's an annual price, $50.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, it's much cheaper than Game Pass, but like Fatboy just said in the comment is, I don't play Animal Crossing, so what you're offering? Like, realistically, there's not a lot of people, I don't think, today, realistically, sitting around playing Genesis and Nintendo 64 games, right?
No.
You're looking at what you're offering for an online service. And if your only offering is an expansion for a game you have to own separately anyway, because remember, this doesn't give you access to the game.
I think they thought that the Animal Crossing expansion pass was going to be like a major hook, like, oh, this is going to bring in a bunch of people, and it probably will. But I sort of went over like a wet fart with me. I was like, all right, well, especially you could buy it separately. Like, why wouldn't you just do that? So, but I'll say this: what if expansion pass comes out and there's like 10 N64 games you want to play, and they all cost $10 on their online store, right?
Yes.
You have to rebuy them. And they're saying, or you could just pay $50 and you're going to get online, and you get this Animal Crossing expansion pass you might get, and you get some Sega games if you at all enjoy Sega, and all that stuff, right? So they've got all of that, and then they're adding stuff to it over the months and years. And Breath of the Wild 2 gets announced, and they go, that's going to be on expansion pass as well. Then I can see it starting to snowball and people looking back on this and being like, actually, yeah, this was a good deal. They just messaged it like really poorly.
That's the key, really. Like, what's the content in the future? What else am I getting this year? Is it just Animal Crossing, or is it going to be one of those things where they again, go amiibo style, and it's like you can have this, in this cool DLC for Breath of the Wild 2, but you have to have, just like, I mean, it's kind of like the perks, for what Xbox does, but those are, generally not something that is.
This is
substantial.
Like it's exclusionary. Like So I actually talked about this in my my Legend of Zelda review, Skyward Sword. They, how Nintendo games are a little backwards in terms of their like functionality. Like they have stuff that feels like it's from like the 80s or 90s, and you're like, why is this in the game?
Yeah.
I always assumed it was just because they made an artistic choice to not do stuff like that, like having static save points and stuff like that. Like, oh, it's just an artistic decision, or it was like a technological limitation. And then you find out that in Skyward Sword, you have the ability to immediately travel between the ground and the sky at any point without finding a way station to do it, but you need the amiibo to do it.
Yeah.
So it's like they had the ability to make the game less annoying, and they were like, well, we're going to lock it behind a toy you have to buy. And I was just like, wow, that is horrible. Like it's it's the opposite of the Xbox perks thing where you get something extra. This is like they take away a crucial feature that makes the game way less irritating.
It sucks.
I feel like every couple months we talk about some type of decision Nintendo's made that just feels wrong in today's market. And I don't know why that is, because
they're figuring it out, man.
There's two arguments. There's two arguments to be made. It's like you're being more successful than ever, right? As are Xbox and PlayStation. All three of them are. So why are you continuing these crappy practices? But then, of course, the counter argument directly to that is they're doing the crappy practices and they're more successful than ever. So, again, if you're those guys way up high, not paying attention to our echo chamber and just looking at the financials, you're just saying, keep doing what you're doing. It's good.
So are you still have to use Bluetooth and like your phone to talk to people on Nintendo?
Nothing else has changed. That's what's funny.
Okay,
that's what's funny about it.
All right, great.
Yeah, I think they have a lot of catching up to do with the online thing, but I don't think that is. Yeah, I mean, obviously they do, but I don't think that this is a crappy practice. I think they're offering a product, but they're not saying
this one no.
Buy it. They're just saying, hey, here's a product. It's probably overpriced. It has way too little content at the out the gate. But Game Pass, I don't know if you guys had it when that was first new. It didn't have a ton either. It started as sort of a scrappy project with not a lot of stuff. It had like all the Xbox games, most of them on the 360. It was like, hey, backwards compatibility's here, and you don't have to go get your disc. But then it became massive, where now you've got like Back 4 Blood coming out, and this game Rift Breaker that I'm about to go play for 10 hours after this podcast. So I think give them a chance is what I say. Don't buy it right now if you don't want it, and then give them a chance and see if they can prove the value to you.
Yeah, I really hope that I don't know. I really hope that they do expand it to your point and make it that kind of service. I wouldn't mind subscribing to something on Nintendo if there was something of value there, but their online is just so poor.
It really is. I think they're running their servers on a potato.
That's what Tao said. They have a Win 95 in the back end. Like,
for sure.
So out of date. It's just hilarious. So anyway,
they're still figuring out the internet. And people forget PlayStation was in that boat not too long ago. I don't know if you guys remember, PlayStation 3 didn't even have an online store until like the end. They like added a way to download games.
They were way
on the PlayStation store. They were so behind, and they caught up really fast. So maybe Nintendo could do it too.
Basically the 360 for years fed PlayStation their lunch, and PlayStation had to catch up. So it is what it is. All right. enough on that. Let's talk about another semi-disaster here. Although that wasn't a disaster now that we've gotten to the bottom of it. But Ubisoft has delayed their open or their closed beta test for Frontline, Ghost Recon Frontline, which is announced a couple weeks ago. Was this Ghost Recon Battle Royale shooter?
Oh, that one, the weird, quirky one.
Yes, that.
Yeah. Okay.
As of I looked a few days ago, but it's about 4 times as many downvotes as upvotes on their video. I mean, it's very, very clear that few people wanted this out of Ubisoft and out of Ghost Recon in particular. And so we talked on cast this week at length, so I don't want to stay too long on this, but it's like, it feels like Ubisoft, there's almost like 2 Ubisofts. You have the Ubisoft who created Immortals last year, which was a fantastic new IP. A lot of people seem to love that game. You have the Ubisoft that creating Riders Republic, who kind of took their learnings from Steep, and which really wasn't too big, but Riders Republic seems like it's going to be a at least a bigger game. Obviously not a huge IP or anything, but a lot more expansive experience for people, and kind of creating these new experiences. They've created all, every game is next gen ready or current gen ready now, and all these kind of good things. But then you have the Ubisoft that's like losing their way completely, and they come out with Tom Clancy's X Defiant, which nobody really asked for or wanted. And now you've got this Frontline debut, which apparently nobody wants at all. And now you're just pissing people off. And it just seems really strange that they don't seem to understand where their community and where their fans lie and what they really want. It feels like they're trying to chase trends rather than create kind of experiences that the fans want.
Yeah.
It's very odd.
Look it up, man. I thought Frontline was like a flea and tick thing. So
it is.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
that too.
That's about all. I mean, I forgot they announced this, and so I looked at the doc. I was just like, "What the hell is Ghost Recon?" I was like, "Oh, they just announced this game. Oh, it's already delayed. All right,
indefinitely. There's no date.
Just get rid of it. Like you've got enough of this garbage. It's not just
garbage. Come on, man. Come on.
I mean,
There's good battle royales.
There are some, yeah. I mean, I don't play them, but yeah, there's some out there. I just don't understand. You want
Fall Guys is a battle royale, technically.
Yeah, I play Fall Guys. It's pretty fun.
But yeah, I love you too.
Yeah, that's about all I can say about it. I mean, I don't know. You just slap Tom Clancy's name on it and we call it good.
Tetris, Tetris 99.
Tom Clancy's Tetris.
Classic, classic battle royale.
I don't know.
You guys ever played that game, Tetris 99?
I did. Yeah.
It's a great game.
It is.
I think this might be, obviously it might be that they made a stinker and that nobody wanted it and they sort of know it, and that's why they're delaying it. That's definitely possible. But I think this is probably a case of the internet doing this thing that's so rare. It so rarely does this, right? Where it overreacts before it has all the information. And I think until you play the game, you don't know really if you like it until you've seen a lot of it and played it and gotten your hands on it. And I think that there might be some overreacting and prejudging here. And I try not to judge a game until I've played it personally. But I wish them the best. I hope their game's good. I don't have a lot of stake because I've played a lot of battle royales, and a Tom Clancy battle royale doesn't particularly appeal to me. But I'll give it a try. I'll give it a chance. I think I hate the mob, as you guys know. I hate the internet mob. It's out here trying to crush developers' dreams. Like, they worked on this game, they probably think it's good. Give them a chance. That's what I say.
I'm half and half there. Like, I agree with you that there shouldn't pile on, right? That's the problem with the whole downvote thing. Is like once that trend starts, everyone piles on, right?
Ratio.
Yeah, and then you've got, to your point, developers. There's probably some really talented people working on this game. It may even have some really good ideas that we're not aware of yet. Again, it could be messaging. It could be the way they presented this. I think I said before, what they should have done is maybe do like a 15 or 20 minute presentation to say, here's where we're taking Ghost Recon next, and here's why we think it'll be a unique experience, or why we think it does justice to the Ghost Recon name, right? Because Ghost Recon at least used to command some respect. It used to mean a certain thing in games, and it feels like Tom Clancy's name is now just being thrown around on a lot of Ubisoft projects. Because remember, you've got X Defiant, which didn't seem to hit very well. You've got now this Ghost Recon Frontline, and you've got you still have Siege out there, which is obviously huge. But now you've got this offshoot of Siege with Extraction, which again seemed to get just beat up on when that was debuted too. So you've got 3 more Tom Clancy games coming, none of which have really been popular with the just open community so far.
They've had successes though. Siege is huge. The Division. I mean,
Division's good. Wildlands was very positive.
Yeah, I don't know how to agree with the Wildlands one, but
Wildlands, yeah. Breakpoint people didn't like. Wildlands was generally well regarded.
I know it was well regarded. I played that game and I was like, I hate this. But yeah. But yeah, I think the Tom Clancy brand is still pretty strong. I think maybe the problem is that the Tom Clancy brand, the Tom Clancy players expect a certain type of game, and it's really not the over the top, quirky battle royale type game that they were shown. And
no, maybe it's supposed to be based more on realism, right?
Yeah, maybe they didn't know their audience as well or something, but it didn't really feel like Tom Clancy himself made this game, guys, which is really what we're going for, right? We want Tom Clancy to make all these video games.
But
he's rolling around in his grave seeing these games.
He's like, what? Yeah. I don't like battle royale.
I used to be a huge Tom Clancy fan of his books. Then I think Without Remorse was like the last one I read, and I was like, he's getting old.
You read that?
I used to.
I didn't know you
yeah. Back when I was young and had eyes that could see, didn't have to sit here with readers. But yeah, I mean,
do you have reading glasses, Dan? Real?
I don't, but I can use them for sure. So, you can use them. I know I would benefit from it. So, but anyway, here's the thing. The market's too oversaturated right now with I mean, every type of game, really. I mean, and you're trying to throw, his name on just a battle royale from an IP that's already, gone a completely different direction than how it started out, so it's just weird to me that you've got so much to choose from, and maybe it's a money thing, maybe it's like, hey, this is what is making these companies money, but just there's other ways to go around it, there's other ways to make money, I guess. It's just you've got tons and tons of battle royales, and this is just another one I think is just gonna end up biting the dust eventually. It says indefinitely. It might just be done. They've got so much. Even Ubisoft as a company has stuff that's not unsimilar from it, I guess. It's, I don't know, man. They've got like 3 or 4 co-op games coming out. It's just, I don't even know what is Heartland or whatever it is.
Division Heartland, which is Tal was just saying Division 2. It is kind of weird, right? Because Division 2 was very popular and it was well supported, and then they're kind of like, they could have kept that going and just continued to expand it, and instead they're like, nah, that's done. We're going to make Division Heartland a free to play division, and it's like,
aren't they supposed to do one more?
Why did you do that?
Yeah, what? I think they have trouble with the games as a service model. They've never really gotten to that, and I mean, now we're starting to get into the Destiny world, which is the other Fast and Furious of this podcast. The other boyfriend dungeon, if you will, is that the Bungie's basically the only developer that has nailed the model of creating that much content that quickly with that high of a quality, and other developers who tried it haven't really succeeded. But what the Division has been successful at is being a great base game as a co-op, like games as a service, and then kind of after the first year starting to work on something else. So I think they've got like one foot in both pools. They've got the old model of like just making a game and then you play it and then you put it back on the shelf after you're done with it, and them trying to kind of get into the service model, which they've never really. I mean, what game aside from Siege has lasted more than the 12 months after? I think Wildlands got a little bit of DLC, but it was sort of the same thing as Division and Division. Yeah,
Division 2. I mean, they do a good job at expansions sometimes and stuff like that, and that's exactly what I meant by it feels like there's 2 Ubisofts. It's like they're pulled in 2 different directions, and they don't know, they're not fully dedicated to either, and so you're getting mediocre stuff out of both. Whereas you mentioned Destiny, and it's like Bungie is not only a massive studio, right? I mean, several hundred people. They're dedicated to one project and focused on that project, and that's why you get what you get. Whereas here it's just and to Tal's point too, like they announced that extra expansion coming for Division 2. They're like, we're not completely done with Division 2, but it's like a year where nothing's happening in the game. They had those weekly state of plays and they were doing all this kind of weekly and monthly content. They just ended that, and they're like, then we're like, we'll have an expansion coming later, and it's like, well, you're going to lose your entire user base by the time you do anything new with that game. I mean,
yeah, totally.
It's very strange.
That's why so many of these guys die, like Anthem. You know, it's just you can't turn out the content as quickly as players want to play.
That's the old Fast and Furious of the podcast.
There was a stretch, Travis, where we mentioned Anthem on every show for like
really?
Year. Yeah, that was our old one.
Yeah.
That $25.
I mean, the Destiny community talks about that game a lot because it's one of many cautionary tales in this graveyard of games of a service.
Yeah.
You know, Destiny killers that just didn't pan out, and they all tell a different like lesson of like why this is hard to
Avengers is another one, and I think
Avengers is tough. Yeah.
One question I wanted to ask you guys, funny enough you brought up Anthem, is Avengers is seeing kind of a resurgence now because they've continued to polish the game, and on Game Pass apparently, you know, a few million more people are playing it.
Yeah.
If Anthem came out last year, do you think that could see a similar thing due to Game Pass? Because remember, Game Pass wasn't really big when Anthem was starting to die. It needed those players. It would have been funny to see what Anthem would do now with a service like Game Pass behind it.
I don't think it would have, because the Avengers has the advantage of being a Marvel product where there's just a way bigger like brand awareness of like people are like, oh yeah, I want to play as the Marvel. So they have that going for them. And the other thing is that Marvel, the Avengers game has actually been pretty good at putting out content at a regular clip, and Anthem was not good at that.
No,
like
they weren't ready for it.
You'd wait like a year and you'd get like finally an update of something that's going to add to the game, and that's really the crucial thing. To be honest, Destiny had that problem too when it came out. It'd be like 3 months, you know, between expansions, and then really every annual releases when you finally got stuff. But the difference was back then they were the only game in town, and they didn't give up. They like plugged away for like 3.5 years before they finally got to the point where players were like, all right, this is the game that we wanted it to be. And I think it's really tough to like swallow that pill for like 3 years, not even knowing if you're going to be able to recreate what Destiny did. And a lot of people give up, like pretty much all of them. I mean, there's really no competitors out there that do the exact same thing. So
I think Anthem with another year of work, like just not released, not working as the game is out. Like they had a whole other year
of development.
Back to it, development, and you know, and then launched on Game Pass. I think it would have done better. I don't think
if they would have stuck.
It's not going to be a Destiny killer by any means, but because it had, like I said, we loved the gameplay was awesome. There was no content.
Yeah, it was content.
No content.
Yeah, like I don't even remember that campaign. That's how much
it wasn't good. It wasn't good.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
No. And it was.
Did you review that, Ames?
It was broken for me. I don't remember. I don't know who reviewed Anthem. I don't know if we did.
I did.
I sat.
You did? Really, Dan?
I think so. I think it was when we were
like the last person I would have expected to review a game.
I can find it right now on the site. But Bert and I at E3 2018, when they debuted that, we were there. We were in the presentation with the producer. I forget his name now of that. And when they first showed the mission where you fight that giant creature in the cave and everything, I was like, oh my God, this game's going to be amazing. You know, we were all blown away. Turns out that mission with the giant crab thing was about the best thing in the game. And there wasn't
also about like a fifth of the content. Like
yes, that's what I mean. There wasn't much else.
Events,
so it's like, oh God, it's just a shame. But how do we get on Anthem again? Good Lord. So a couple other things I wanted to touch on. We got courtesy of Jez over at Windows. You all right?
Yeah, you said a couple. I was like, just looking at the time.
Yeah, we've had some good conversation on other things. But I want to touch on Avowed, which
give it a 7, just real quick. I did.
Did you really?
Give it a 7.
Yep. That's great. Classic.
Fantastic.
7.
That seems high.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know the season. I don't know the season gaming review scale, but at IGN 7 means good.
It means good, honorable. It means honorable for us.
I went back later and like
you honorable.
Like a year,
that's the word you guys use to describe a 7.
Yep.
What like it bowed in shame when it farted in public? Like,
look, we're not as creative as IGN with good.
But everyone understands what good is. You tell me a game is honorable.
We cater to a different audience.
Does it open doors for elders? What does honorable mean?
Look,
I don't understand.
Just because you cater to the lowest common denominator, that's not what we do here.
God.
That's not what we do here.
Well, you carry to a non-existent denominator. There's no one who wants their game to be described as honorable. That's insane to me.
Well, maybe you could just go and read what honorable means on our site, and then you'd understand.
Oh my God! I've been on your site one time.
That's a good plug. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Because you built it in WordPress, and I went on it and I was like, oh man, this site is built in WordPress. Is what I can tell. Yeah. Great.
I think that was the beginning. That was before the complete lack of anything else came after, because it was all this promised content and stuff, and we got none of it. So
can I just interrupt this to make a stupid joke?
Mm-hmm.
But a 7 for Anthem on Season Gaming is great because the game is honorable because it committed seppuku.
Jesus Christ.
Moving
on. We're moving on. Moving on to Avowed. So Jazz over at Windows Central kind of broke some news on Avowed, which is Obsidian's upcoming kind of AAA first-person RPG. It's gotten a lot of comparisons to Skyrim, but from what we've heard and what we've seen is Avowed is going to be Obsidian kind of at their best, like full budget, full resources. This is their top game in development, and Obsidian, from an RPG perspective, is definitely they're top tier. They're just way up there. So what they could create here, I think a lot of people are excited for. So if you weren't already aware, Avowed is based in the Pillars of Eternity kind of universe. And some of the new things that he kind of commented on was that, spells are going to have a big play in this game. So everything you saw in an original debut with like the spell casting is going to play a big part. There's going to be weapon enchanting, enchanted swords, frozen arrows, etc. They may also have guns, similar to muskets that are found in the original 2 titles. Combat seems to be more loadout based than Elder Scrolls. So mountains of spells, a gigantic list. Warriors will have a ton of physical attacks, swordplay, kicks, shield bashing. Casters will have a ton of spellbook options. So that the build out kind of aspect of it sounds really cool, kind of more dynamic and more deep than, say, Skyrim. And then in terms of the world, it says it's a far more colorful game than what you may imagined, more reminiscent of, say, Outer Worlds, but in a broader world. So luminescent cave mushrooms, forests, flora, hulking temples and buildings and structures too. So this game just seems to be one more thing too, that you're gonna be able to swim. So obviously water will play a role. Destructible environment, using fire spells to light things up and all kinds of stuff. So it just sounds like this is Skyrim gets a lot of love. Obviously, for many people, Skyrim's one of their favorite games of all time. But it's 10 years old now, right? Or 11 years old, 10 years old. And so, you go back and play that game. It's still fantastic, but there's a lot of things current games can do kind of broader. And it sounds like Avowed is going for those things. So if they nail what we're hearing here in terms of gameplay and environments, and then also have a solid story, which Obsidian's very good at, this could really, really be something special. And according to the report, both him, Clobriel, a few other kind of Xbox guys have said that, it's early alpha, but it is in a playable state. So I don't think this game is, like 2025, right? I think we're going to see this game sooner than maybe 2023.
They've actually shown gameplay.
Yes, exactly. So
a small clip, but yeah.
I think with Starfield being their big RPG for next year, I could see Avowed being their kind of big RPG for 2023. And just, looking at
Probably
it from today's perspective.
Spring 2023 is my guess.
Okay.
Yeah, because it seems too far away. I'm really excited for this one. And before I continue, I was joking about only being on the site once. Obviously, I've actually read a lot of those articles. I was joking in case anybody in the comments or watching this video later is like, "Wow, Travis hates season games." No. I'm excited for this one. I had no idea it was in the Pillars of Eternity world, and I don't know if there was any way for us to know that, like if there were any hints to that.
They've said it.
They said it before. Yeah. I guess I just totally missed that before the Jazz article this week, but that definitely makes me want to go and play the Pillars of Eternity games, because I have gotten partway through and unsuccessfully tried to get through the entire games of both of the Pillars of Eternity games, and I need to go through them. Especially
they're amazing games, but they're very old school Western
they're
RPG, right?
Clunky,
they're just
RPGs. But I love clunky RPGs. It's really, for me, it's the time sink. Like they'll be like, I'll get in and I'll get like 30 hours into the game, and then all of a sudden, I get a review that I have to dive into, or like some big game comes out and I just never get to go back to it. And then when I do go back to it, I'm like, oh, I don't remember what I was doing. Time to start.
You gotta start all over.
Yeah, and that's the brutal part of these games. I just need to sit down and like full commit and get through both of the games before. So
yeah, let me get the super chat, Dan, before you comment.
Yeah. Mariano Pampa in here. The $5, $10 Pampa today. Good morning, gents. Thank you for the Sunday entertainment. Everyone hit that like button. How much money to have Dan stream a scary game? Bitcast After Dark. Am I wearing a shirt?
Halloween episode.
That's what we should bring back, Dan. That's what we should bring back. Except for now, we'll do it on this platform. We can stream your gameplay live, and Travis and I can comment on it.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, I'm okay with that. You know what I should do is just start streaming my encounters to my in-laws' house. That would be scary.
That would be great. Yeah,
yeah, it'd be a good time.
So thank you, Pampa. Appreciate it, brother.
Next time.
Pampa and I've been crushing Rocket League with Elu lately, man. Just playing it multiple nights per week. Just tons of Rocket League.
Yeah, I saw your tweet about it.
Did you? I don't know if you're joking. I can't remember if I tweeted about it or not.
Your tweet about the team name.
Oh yeah.
What was the team name?
Let's just say that Rocket League has some moderation issues.
The team names you see in Rocket League are some of the like most despicable human beings on the planet. Like it's just horrific, and it's like, how has Epic Games and Psyonix not done something to combat these team names? Like, come on, it's 2021, man, get it together.
Oh, so somebody else had.
Yeah, we're just SG, I mean, that's all we are. But yeah, the team names.
Republic team name is. They have a secret team name that is super offensive.
I have to figure out. I have muted too many words. I think I've muted like and like, so I see nothing anymore. Nothing.
Yeah, you
maybe it has to do with your vision. You said you need glasses.
No, I got the giant, lettering on there. Like a
42 size font.
It's humongous.
Yeah, they just that agreed the Rocket League names are effed up. Yep.
Yeah. So I saw this article.
Yeah.
After you linked it to me. It looks amazing. I mean, I think it's going to be Avowed as one of my most highly anticipated games.
Yeah.
Going forward.
It has been.
Yeah, I mean,
it is for me too. It's way up there.
I thought you might just hate RPGs or something. I never can tell with you. I mean, you just
I don't have to deal with anybody else
earlier. I have no idea what to expect from you.
Oh my gosh, don't get me started again. Okay, anyway, so like this is. I mean, it's gonna check all the boxes for me. It's it sounds like the combat's very interesting. It's from Obsidian.
I hear Christopher Nolan's writing it.
Well, then I am out completely, and it's
you know what you should do, Ains? It's okay to let him review games for your site, but have a separate scoring system for him. You know what I mean? And put all of his other opinions on all the other topics next to all of his reviews as a sidebar, so people know who they're talking to. Right? I think that's important.
Listen, man, you can't. I just keep it real. That's all it is.
I think you can have an honorable personally.
Yeah.
He's still on this.
I don't know what it is. Yeah. I mean, more information would be nice. It's probably 2023, 2024 game.
I think 23 personally. We'll 23.
See. I mean, we've got so much down the pipe. Xbox does. So there's a lot of stuff coming. I'm excited to see. I'm excited to not have to pay for it. So that's the best.
So as part of this week where, we know Fable and Avowed and Starfield and then, all the other kind of games that Xbox has announced that they're working on, they came out and said we've only seen less than half of their projects for first party, which is crazy.
Have we seen that Compulsion game yet?
No.
Gosh, I have no idea, man.
No, it's supposed to be darker, third person action adventure, but darker toned, which sounds great. Cool. Where Compulsion can live because they're great. I still think whatever game they have next is going to really, really surprise some people. I'm very confident.
The last game had potential. Its launch model is just wrong. Like they shouldn't have done a preview. They should have released it when it was fully done and just been like, this is the game. Because the model they used for that type of game is like,
it was one of those. feet in both camps. Like they tried this cool,
the
story and it's really good, but then they tried this weird survival thing like in it, and that just didn't work well. They should have gone full. I
think that could have worked. I just think that they needed to show us the completed game because it's such a weird, not immediately like understood type of game that it's even weirder if you're playing it when it's not fully completed, and it's like the model was all wrong, man. I still think that game could have been great.
It absolutely could have. Yeah, very good story in it. More touching than you would imagine. Like it's actually a very touching story in that game.
Did you beat it?
Yeah. I reviewed it and beat it. Yeah.
Nice. I didn't get through it, but I really liked what I saw. Aside from, it felt like I was playing an early access game, and I was like,
yes,
they shouldn't have done it this way. They shouldn't have done it this way.
Yeah. It's a shame because there's so few people who did beat it, and like I said, the story's really touching, and I don't want to say it because it ruins. Like you wouldn't expect the story to be what it is based on what you're playing in the game at the start. So it's interesting. Anyway, guys, last thing we're gonna touch on today is the Xbox Series X mini fridge, baby. It's coming. It's pre-orders. Cheap. It is $99 and it holds a full 12 pack. They showed. So people were like,
you have to stack them, or
I think it's like two vertical, and then you can roll a couple in the top. So it's probably like 4, or I don't know. 5, I don't know. But
how'd that work? It can't be 4, 4, 4. So
we're doing the math on it, but it the pictures are online and the pre-orders go live Tuesday as you're listening to this. So
only at Target
on the 19th. It is Target exclusive in the US.
Weird.
In the US. Weird. I think it's because it's such a weird niche product. They had to come up with some sort of like retailer deal to make it
probably a marketing deal.
This is a meme. This is a meme that they're turning into like a product, and you can't do that at scale. Like who knows how plausible this actually is. So
yeah, I was gonna get one originally, but now I'm just like, I don't know where the hell I put it.
Right next to your Series X. That way you get confused of which one's the fridge and which one's the box.
I didn't know one would be on.
So Aaron Greenberg actually responded to me on Twitter and said, "Oh, it's much bigger than a Series X." So it's it's going to be a decent size, I think.
Yeah, but his eyes don't work, so he still might be confused.
Yeah, it might look exactly the same.
I literally have a fridge right there. It's like 5 feet away already in the basement. But I don't know where I'm going to put it, but I'm getting one for damn sure.
Me too. Yeah, I'll put it wherever I need to put it. I'm getting that damn box, man. I'm getting it.
I see a lot of people, and obviously it's anecdotal, right? And it's kind of on Twitter, but a lot of people are excited about buying this thing. I wonder if they're going to be able to meet demand.
Oh, no way. It'll sell it out right away, and then they'll never manufacture
it.
They're basically doing this as a meme favor because they won like best
the Skittles thing.
Yeah, they beat Skittles in the best like brand.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Is there a place?
Yeah, Dash said he posted a video of the Series X in a fridge. That's right. The Series X fits inside of it. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's great. If only you could run it that way.
It'll keep your Series X cooler.
Yeah, exactly. You got a cool cooling case. Chest.
Is there like a dimension, like what the dimensions are anywhere? I haven't seen anything.
I haven't seen
it's
it.
It's in our dimension, Dan.
Yeah, I know that.
Man.
Yeah, so I'm excited. We'll see. I'm going to be paying attention on Tuesday when pre-orders go live. So
me too.
You know what's going to be funny is going to see people fucking scalping Series X mini fridges.
Oh, that's for sure going to happen.
$300.
I'm going to do it.
I want them to make a full size fridge. I would consider buying it because they produced that full size one.
They made 3 of them. Yeah, they made 3 of them.
If they produced that, I'd be like, I might buy that because I happen to have an older fridge. Yeah. Why not?
If they made it, it was a proper fridge size that fit in standard fridge.
Yeah.
Basis. Oh, I'd buy one instantly, no doubt.
Yeah, easy purchase.
Yep. This will be funny though. I can't wait to see what happens with it.
We need to coordinate, Ains. We'll both get on there.
Yeah.
Find out what time. Message me.
You can piss your buddy off. Say you scalp 10 of them.
Yeah, like I was going to do with that OLED Switch. I'm going to buy 6 of them.
I don't know if you were here on the show at that time, Travis. Dan jokingly said on Bitcast, like, I'm going to buy 6 OLED Switches and then scalp them. And one of the guys who watched our show got so mad and started screaming at Dan and then said he's never watching Bitcast again. And it was like,
wow.
Clearly he was being sarcastic. Like, calm down.
Sarcasm, people don't get it.
Yeah,
I actually know. I know somebody who is a scalper. and makes like those bots to do it. And every time I talk to him and he brings it up, I'm like, you're the worst. Like,
yeah, just give me his name and address. I'll give him the Sarko in the chat.
He's a good guy, but that one part about
he's not going to be for long.
Stop, like, just don't do that.
No, don't.
He's like, it's how I make money. I sell things. I'm like, you don't create anything. You're a parasite.
Man.
So as we're getting ready to close the show, about half an hour ago, Xbox Game Studios Publishing official account tweeted out, "We're excited to kick off something special tomorrow. Just give us one more day to prepare the chickens." So it seems like a Fable reference. I wonder if we're going to get
definitely a Fable reference.
Yeah, I mean, what else would they refer to with chickens, right? So are we going to get some Fable news tomorrow? That could be cool.
That'd be awesome.
My guess.
Go for it.
Minecraft.
Fable content in Forza 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's my guess. Because they've done it with Halo. They've made references to other games in the past. I think it's probably too early to show anything from Fable because we still haven't seen any gameplay.
Great.
And I don't think the timing, I don't think they would start to show Fable before Forza Horizon 5 comes out.
Yeah,
like driving through Albion or something.
I think it might just be a mission, maybe a side mission, maybe Albion DLC. I don't know if they would announce the expansion before the main game's out, but I think maybe something like that, maybe some sort of chicken chaser mission. Who knows?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think people expecting like 5 minutes of Fable gameplay to come out on a random Monday is not going to happen at this point in time. It's too big of a game to just drop like that.
Let me set your low expectations of Fable content in Forza, and then if you get anything else, you can be elated.
There you go. By the way, Mariano hitting us up with the fridge dimension. So there you go. Foot and a half tall, and then 9 by 9 on the sides.
I'm looking at my spot here. Like, where can I put it?
So
yeah, I think I can handle
Thanks,
that.
Mariano. You're a pretty nice guy for someone who's named after a trench.
What is happening?
I don't know.
You can feel free to get him, Pampa. Get him.
Hilarious.
Jordan, I'm not putting that up on the screen, Jordan. Pampa's laughing. Jesus. All right, I think that's probably the best comment we can end on because I can't come up with anything better than that. So, it's been a fun one today, guys. I kind of like just the three of us, honestly.
Me too,
I like
yeah,
it, man. It's fun.
Chat.
It's fun. It's fun. Let us know what you guys think in the comments, man. If you like the three amigos here chatting on a Sunday morning, and thanks for joining us. A lot of you have been chatting all morning and here for the whole show, so really appreciate you guys. Anyone listening later, of course, we love you. Thanks for all the listens lately. Like I said, always do us a favor. I don't say this often, but do us a favor. If you do listen to us, you don't join us live, whether you listen on Apple, Spotify, wherever you're at, please give us a review if you like the show. Hook us up with a review. It definitely helps get it out there. So if you would do that, I would appreciate it. So coming this week, I think I mentioned last week, I did sit down with Colin Moriarty. We actually had a really good show. We talked for just under an hour. It was a topic that he changed to, which I thought was a good topic, and we just bounced off each other and had a really good conversation. So he said that's going to go live early this week. So I'm guessing, tomorrow or Tuesday it'll go live. It is for his Sacred Symbols Plus show, which is, I believe, his Patreon show. So it's like $1 to sign up for his Patreon that you get access to the show. But I'd appreciate it if you listen to that because it was a very good conversation on a topic that I think will be near and dear to people who listen to this show or gamers that have been around for a while, us old guys. But it was funny, Colin and I talking because I think he's a few years younger than me, but we were talking about all kinds of old stuff.
He's old school. He's OG.
Yeah.
Actually, it's weird that you mentioned that you and Colin had butted heads in the past because I was thinking about it. I was like, they should agree on like everything. They have like, that really surprised me. You guys seem like
I don't think butted heads. I think that I think that how he and I, and obviously he's a big figure in gaming, right? But I think how he and I kind of approach conversational topics is just different. That's all. But I think when you sit us down like he did, and we're talking about something that we both love and has history, then it turned into a fantastic conversation, right? Because there's nothing to debate. It's more of just sharing a love for something, which was really good. And I think it was a good idea by him to do that. So
still want to see a debate though.
No, we didn't.
He's a good guy. We actually, when he was at IGN, he's a good.
He actually talks about it at the start of the show, why he changed topics and stuff. So it's good.
Nice.
Good on him. Yeah.
Right. I'll listen to it.
Yeah. So that'll be out. Cast Co-op 14 is out on the Season Gaming channel now. If you haven't checked that out, that's me, Mr. Badbit, and Insipid Ghost, Luke and Joe, just chatting our nonsense. We talked Ubisoft, we talked Kotaku, we talked a few things. Fun show as always. Check that out. And then this week I've got a review on this little thing. So check out this little mini controller. It's from GameSir. So I reviewed their Bluetooth controller for phones to play like xCloud with a couple months ago. And so they were like, you want to check out our mini controller. So this connects Bluetooth to the Switch, or it's or PC, or you can wire it to other consoles. And it's fully featured and functions. So I'm going to be doing a video on this week if you want to check it out. It's actually a pretty well made little controller. So good if you're like traveling and want to play stuff on the go. So anyway, guys, Travis, shout it out, man.
Oh yeah, doing the review of the Rift Breaker. I am gonna beat that damn game today, come hell or high water. And hopefully we'll have my review live on IGN.com this week. You can find my reviews, previews, and articles on that site. Follow me on Twitter at TyGuyTravis, and you can watch a Destiny show I do every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific if you care at all about Destiny. What's that? You don't? Okay, cool. Next.
Nice.
Now you guys have really just to shout that out real quick, but last word is it's a great show. I mean, it goes without saying, Abontis and Cog and you are all great guys. There, I think, was I'm not a huge Destiny guy, but it felt like there was a gap when Fireteam chat became just intermittent, right? It's not regular anymore. And I think you guys have filled that well. It was the right move getting you on there with them because you bounce off each other well. You've had some great guests, so it's cool. It's cool to see.
Someday I'm going to get you on the show, and I'm just going to have you explain your experience as a casual person who pops in and out.
I'm down.
Just because we don't have that perspective at all on the show. Like, it's all us, like, super deep in it. And sometimes we'll talk to a casual player and they'll be like, I don't understand everything. We'll be like, wow, I forgot how crazy this game is for somebody who's not, like, neck deep. So that'll be
that game is so far like that. I played, like I said earlier this year, whenever the Series X upgrade came out, I got back into it for a few weeks and played the heck out of it, right? Beyond Light, thank you. Whenever that came out, right? And I went back to it a few weeks ago and I was lost again. I was like, I got no clue what the hell's going on. It's just, there's so much in it. But anyway, all right, Dan, we'll see you here next week.
Boom.
That's a shout out.
That's my shout out.
And look forward to a bunch of reviews in the works right now too. Back for Blood, like I said, Guardians of the Galaxy is coming. A few others as well, so stay tuned. But always.
Are you reviewing Back for Blood, Ains?
No, Mama, our community manager, is actually reviewing that, which will be her first review for the site. So
nice.
Yeah, but she's working on a book as well in her spare time. So she's actually writing a book, soon to be author. So it's great. We have some really great writers. It's really a joy to have people that write so well for the site. It's cool.
I hope her book is about how to crush your first video game review.
Jesus. And with that, we are out, guys. Thank you as always. That was Bitcast 175. Love all you guys. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you next week. Peace.